Hey everybody, welcome back for another Memory Keeping Plan With Me video. So this is for May 12th through the 18th. So the 14th was my birthday, but the 17th was my second younger sister's college graduation in San Diego. So presumably I will have many more birthdays. I hope I have many more birthdays. That would, yeah, let's not, yeah, I'm going to have many more birthdays. But she's only going to graduate from college once. So I used these a la carte sheets from Pink Leaf Prints from her graduation kit, and I loved this because these colors matched my sister's college colors pretty well. And so even though they didn't have like 2025 incorporated in it, there's like a 2024 tassel and a 2023 mug. I thought it would be a good pick for this week. I also pulled in some extra things from like Beautiful Mess Plans and Simply a Mess. And I am going to use one of those characters from Sweet Ava's paper because that cat is wearing like a red and black robe for graduation. But I don't think I ended up pulling in any of the extra full boxes. I did want to make sure I put this cupcake box on Wednesday because that was my birthday, and that kind of looked like a birthday cupcake box, right? I absolutely love this scene with them throwing their caps up in the air, even though that's way less common at college graduations. I feel like at college graduations, people, there's always like a group of people who are like, oh yeah, we throw our caps up in the air, right? Because we did this at high school graduation. And at college graduation, they're like, please don't do that. Which nobody like directly says that, but they're like, no, you don't do that here. And everyone's like, what? I was homeschooled in high school, so I don't even know what you do at a high school graduation, except that I used to cover high school graduations for the newspaper when I worked at one a lot. So there's that. I'm going to try to not go off on any more tangents though. So yeah, do love that scene. And then there was a single version box of that scene as well that I'm going to put in the upper left hand corner. I love this kind of sky blue, so I brought it in with a few icons this week. You'll see those in just a little bit. My head is like all over the place. It's July now as you're watching this and as I'm recording this, so my brain is a little muddled. I did have to pull in some functional sidebar stuff from my leftovers collection, so I pulled in a this week header in kind of like a maroon color, and then I had a sky blue weekly checklist to mark all of my dinners. I didn't use any habit trackers. I didn't really have anything else to mark in the sidebar this week. There was nothing I wrote down in my plum paper planner. I'm just kind of accepting that there are some points in my life throughout the year where I'm not going to be meeting my habits. I'm not going to be doing all of the things consistently. And I'm trying to be okay with that because I give myself a lot of grief over it of like, oh my God, you don't do this habit consistently 365 days out of the year. And it's like, okay, but during the summer, like I rock my habit trackers. That my habit trackers the last few weeks have been so consistent, and that's because this is my time off that I get during the year. So this was the last week of classes at my work, and then we were heading into finals. So the next 2 weeks after this, I was just nonstop grading, except for I did give myself like Memorial Day off because our school calendar was weird this year. Grades were due like the week after Memorial Day instead of the week before Memorial Day. So the 3-day weekend threw me off just a little bit, but I'm like, I'm still just going to take that Monday off because I don't get paid for it. So might as well take the day off. Anyway, I'm rambling again. I decided to put the glitter headers on the top row down a little bit to not have space between them and the full boxes that were at the top. And then I used the date covers, and that actually gave me more space to put the deco in. The deco in this kit was quite large, not like that large, but some of the pieces were a little big. So, and because I only got the 4 a la carte sheets, you can get like a full version, like an 8 or 9 page kit of this version. But I didn't really love every single page from that, so I just got the a la carte sheets that I thought I wanted to use. So I did want to make sure that I used the date covers as well as the deco since I was aiming to use pretty much everything from this kit. The only things I had left from this kit when all was said and done were there's like this really skinny glitter washi in gold on the washi page that wouldn't fit, at least not in my planner, and then 1 page flag. Everything else I used, there were a lot of things to mark this week, especially because we went out of town and it was my birthday. Sorry that you have to see the top of my head. I did not realize that was going to be in frame. But yeah, so I didn't have labels for every single thing. You'll end up seeing that, but that's okay because I think not having a label for every single thing and just marking it on the paper with a character and handwriting, I think that works to give this spread a little bit of breathing room. So I'm just putting in my date covers, and there is going to be a point in this plan with me towards the end of Sunday where I didn't realize my camera stopped recording. My camera records in 20-minute clips, and most of the time I need to take a break before 20 minutes, so I notice, but this time at the end of Sunday, you'll see that we switched from Sunday very rapidly to going over to the sidebar. So sorry about that in advance. I lost track of time, I guess, and didn't realize my camera shut off. It doesn't make any noise when it shuts off or when it stops recording. It just like, unless the battery is died. So I don't hear it. And this is another mess up. There's a lot of mess ups in this video. So I forgot that I wanted to color block. So I was starting to stagger the colors of my glitter headers, and then I realized, wait a second, this is not what I want. So I had to take them all up. And this is on Pink Leaf Prints matte paper, so it's pretty sticky. So it did do a little bit of damage, but I ended up putting stickers all over all of that anyway. So now the glitter headers are color blocked the way that I wanted them to be. So I went ahead and put in the deco. That mug that says Class of 2023, I tried as much as possible to not show the part that said 2023, so I ended up putting it like in a upside down way so that it wouldn't, that I could cut off the 3. I partially cut off the 3, so you'll see, you'll still be able to see it in here, but oh well. I think sometimes people forget to update their listings or update their designs each year, which is fair if they don't. I don't know how many graduation kits or graduation foil bundles people sell in a year, but I have had a consistent issue with multiple shops sending me out of date graduation stickers, and I'm kind of like, I feel like we could pay a little bit more attention to that. It's not like the biggest deal in the world, but unless you're really, really far behind in your planner, you are not going to be using Class of 2023 or Class of 2024 stickers anymore. So I kind of wish people would either take those elements out if they're not going to keep them up to date, or of course, ideally, I would love if they would update the elements. But that's a very small gripe. It's not the biggest deal. It's just something that I think could be improved upon just a little bit. So yeah, just filling in with all of the deco. I also decided to use, there were these 4 asterisk dots that I decided to use kind of like confetti deco. So I'm going to pull those in as well. There they are. I didn't love how all of the confetti streamers ended up on like one side of the deco, and most of the dots ended up on the other side, but I couldn't figure out how to respace them. I'm pretty picky about using all of the deco, but then also trying to make it all fit together, so I take a long time putting deco down. A lot of kits I use don't even have it because I use a lot of Cinderella paper kits, so that kind of makes my life easier, but when I have it, I want to make it perfect because I'm realizing the older I get, the more of a perfectionist I am. That's not really the direction I'd love to go with that. So anyway, let's go ahead and get into the day by day. So the first thing I'm going to mark on Monday was that it was Tony Renee Plans' birthday, and I wanted to mark that not only because I've been a big fan of her channel this last year that she's been posting, but also because I thought it was funny that Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of this week there were birthdays. So Monday was Tony's birthday, Tuesday was my nephew's birthday, and Wednesday was my birthday. So it was a birthday heavy week. It did rain this day. It was a pretty rainy week all across California, which is kind of odd for the middle of May, but I welcome it because we didn't get any rain. We didn't get a lot of rain this winter. So I have a Sweet Ava's paper sticker for that. Everything in the top box is from Sweet Ava's paper. So I went and taught all of my classes and then also was grading some assignments just to get ready for leaving on Friday. I did realize that I got turned down from a full-time job, a full-time professor job that I applied for. One of them emailed me this week to let me know that I wasn't going to go through to the interview round. I think they had already started interviews at this point. So I just used a little Sweet Eva's paper blowing a kiss for that. No hard feelings. I know who ended up getting hired for it at this point, and it makes sense. I'm just glad that I tried. And then this evening, my husband was playing a vinyl by The Strokes on our record player because he had gotten it for one of his nephews. And Evie really seemed to like it. So I like picked her up and was dancing with her, and she really seemed to be into the rock music. So that was cute. So that record player is from Itty Bitty Sticker Co. And then I was continuing to watch The Residents on Netflix, which is a Shondaland show. I had to explain to my husband what Shondaland was. I'm like, like Grey's Anatomy? And he's like, yeah, I know. I just didn't realize that was like her production company. I'm like, okay, well now you know. So that judge sticker is from Sweet Eva's paper. This footage is going by really quickly, and I'm kind of nervous that I'm going to run out of time to talk about everything. Tuesday, the first thing I marked was my nephew's birthday. He's 14 now. That's wild. So I marked that with a Molly from Itty Bitty Sticker Co. I did some yoga. I voiced over a plan with me, and then I had a grading to do. So all of those stickers are from Sweet Eva's paper. And then I finished The Residents on Netflix. I liked it. I really liked the main character. I thought she was very funny, but also like very smart, very clever. But I did feel like there were like too many episodes. Like at some point I was like, can you just tell me who did it? So I liked it to a point, and I thought it was very funny, but also a very smart show. But I just felt like it had just a couple more episodes than it really needed. But that's just me. I would recommend it. And I would have liked to use Molly crime scene stickers for this, but I didn't have any that matched this kit. So yeah, it's a fun detective show. Wednesday was my birthday, so I used these Prairie Planner balloons to mark that. I love those balloon stickers. I'm the big 3-3 now. And then this was also my last day of teaching for the semester. So that's from Sweet Eva's paper. So I brought my students like the big old Frito-Lay box of chips, and they got to pick whatever they liked. A lot of times the last day of class, there's a bunch of people who don't show up. So some people got to take like 2 bags of chips. It was great. I had some grading to do. I was exhausted by the end of the day. Then I marked with a Corks and Corgs Co. phone that I was replying to a whole bunch of text messages I had gotten from various people in my life for my birthday. That was very nice. And then I opened my gifts from my husband, so I marked that with a Plannahannah mixed metal foil gift that I had. She recently brought that foil to shop because this was originally like an advent foil, and I'm so excited to eventually order some stuff in the mixed metal foil because I think it's a really cool foil. So my husband got me a Casey Musgraves t-shirt that was a fundraiser for the LA wildfires, which was awesome. It's also just a really cute t-shirt. And then he also got me these green book earrings that are like paper, so that's awesome. I love those. Then we watched Everybody's Live on Netflix, and we started watching. I just realized I did not write in what I meant to write in on Wednesday. This is a cluster of a plan with me. I meant to write in eating birthday cake because my husband made me a lovely chocolate cake, and instead I wrote in starting the 4 seasons. So, oops, I don't know what to do about that now. Oh well, I'll figure it out later. Thursday, I marked my husband working from home, so that pen cup is from the Prairie Planner, and this was the day of one of my brother's PA school graduations. I was not able to be there, but I was able to watch the live stream. So I marked that with a little like doctor sticker from Sweet Eva's paper. Obviously he's not a doctor, but they do get lab coats. They get their own type of white coat. So I marked that. I was grading, and then I had to pack for San Diego. And then at the end of the day, I was listening to Bonehead. So that microphone is from Plannahannah. I was filming a plan with me. That camera was from Corks and Corks Co. And then we finished watching the 4 seasons on Netflix. You really hate Steve Carell's character, and then there's a wild twist at the end of that show that I did not see coming, and we both were just like, my husband and I were like, what just happened? So I would recommend it. It's going to make you angry at pretty much all men. If you're in any way feminist minded at all, you're just like, cool, I'm going to get old and my husband's going to leave me. Awesome. But by the end, you're kind of like, well, at least it was interesting television. And then we played with the cats because we were going away the next day. Friday, we drove to San Diego. Our first stop was in Kettleman City, which is like a very common stop along I-5 in California. I got a Squishmallow Happy Meal by the time we got to the foot of the Grapevine, so I marked that with a Bella Planella Happy Meal. And then I took the part of the drive where we had to drive through LA right in the middle of the day, like 3-4 p.m. And I put in this "Hello, I'm trying my best" munchkin from Once More with Love because I was so mad at everybody. Like, I can do it, I can do that drive, but oh my gosh, I do not miss living in SoCal. Because, like, at one point there was this guy, we were in stop and go traffic, right? Because that's just Los Angeles. Um, this guy was in a work truck and he just kept like swerving in his lane for no reason. And I'm like, I was honking at him so much because I'm just like, are you trying to hit somebody? What the hell is your problem? So that's Los Angeles. The rumors are true. It sucks driving there. That's just how it is. And then by the time we got to Oceanside, so we switched off at some point. My husband was driving at this point. There is like literally always traffic in Oceanside. I don't know why. There just always is. So I marked that with a crabby Molly from Itty Bitty Sticker Co. I read my book while I was in the car while we were in that traffic jam because I was so over being on the road at this point. And then finally we got to our Airbnb in Hillcrest, which is up in the hills in San Diego. It was a very cute Airbnb. It was kind of like a garden level apartment that the main homeowners were renting out. So it was very cute. I wanted to get something nice because it was my birthday week and I wanted to enjoy myself in San Diego. And then we were able to walk down into town to go to a sushi restaurant. It's called Izakaya Masa. And I ended up getting like a Japanese IPA that I had never tried before. So I love when some izakayas have different beers besides just like Sapporo or Asahi. I like trying different beers. And Saturday was the big day. So the first thing I marked was getting ready. I actually curled my hair and everything, did a full face of makeup for this graduation. I was just in the mood for that. So I marked that with a lipstick from Planet Hannah. My sister was kind of hosting a brunch at her apartment. So I ate like bagels and orange juice at that. So I used a Geneva Creation sticker for that. And then I used that Sweet Eva's paper graduation cat to mark the graduation. This was like the most hype graduation I've ever been to. Like it was in their indoor stadium and they were playing like, I don't even remember what songs, but it was like not, there was Pomp and Circumstance at some point, but there was a lot of hype music. It was really funny and honestly kind of matched the vibes of this university. Then we did family pictures after, and then we just went back to my sister's apartment after. I ended up like napping on the couch, sitting up while everyone was just talking around me because I was quite tired. And then we went to Punch Bowl Social in downtown San Diego for dinner. So I have a Molly taco sticker from Itty Bitty Sticker Co. And then it rained pretty heavily this evening, which was kind of wild. It was a very gloomy weekend in San Diego. Love San Diego. It's a great destination if you have never been. There's so many different things to do. But yeah, I marked that with a Sweet Eva's paper sticker. And then Sunday we drove home. It rained again. I think we drove into rain when we were in LA or something. I don't remember. And then I was introducing my husband to the Boneheads podcast. So I marked that with a little podcast sticker from Planet Hannah. My camera just fell over there on the recording. We stopped at Starbucks in Tejon Ranch for, I think just coffees. I had a lot of leftovers from the day before, so I just ate those instead of buying new food. And then I took the part of the drive that was straight through the Central Valley. There was absolutely no traffic on the way home, which was amazing because we had so much traffic on the way down. So I just used this like Sweet Eva's paper sunglasses cat to be like, I'm so cool. We stopped for gas in Santanella, and then we got home, we're reunited with the cats, and I used an inhaler Molly from Itty Bitty Sticker Co. because Clover was so excited to see us that she was honestly giving herself an asthma attack. My cat has asthma, we think, according to the vet, and she just kept wheezing off and on throughout the night. We're like, don't overexcite yourself, baby. And then I started watching Designated Survivor this night. So I'm just filling in with all sorts of little gold foil graduation stuff from Planet Hannah. I forgot to save any of this for the next week because my youngest sister graduated the next week. So oops, now I have no graduation foil for that week. But then I was also putting in some of the mixed metal foil, also from Planet Hannah, to decorate the boxes as well. So I'll have to figure out something for foil. That's the other screw up of this plan with me. Here's everything that's left over. I suppose I could decorate with those Mickey heads, but I don't know why that would be relevant to my youngest sister's graduation. And here's what's left of the kit, just 2 pieces of washi and that page flag. I'll probably pull in some of this deco for the next week because the kit I'm using the next week doesn't have any deco in the kit. So I'll need to pull that in. But yeah, hopefully this plan with me made sense. I was out of tune with, or out of sync with what was going on the screen for a lot of the plan with me. But yeah, this was a fun week. It was nice to be in San Diego. Driving to and from was kind of tiring, but other than that, it was a nice little trip. Nice way to spend the week of my birthday. I hope you enjoyed. I'll talk to you next time. Bye.